Trustless Degens featuring your hosts, MMG Smurf, Bullish Satoshi, and the Infinite. That's right. We got our residential normie back again.
Yeah, what's up? My
I
stuff's
feel like
fixed.
we should have a normie every show. We need to get a normie in here on the reg. He needs to be part of the deal. Like maybe
We
we'll
definitely need
offer them
him to
cookies or
rein
something they find
us
valuable.
in.
All right. Today for our episode, we got a lot of cool news in the DeFi space or not just DeFi, but crypto and Web3 space to cover. This show is basically a podcast where we talk about everything in crypto as a whole. So that's Web3, that's DeFi, that's meme tokens, that's gaming. It's pretty much insert buzzword here, as we like to say. So I'm like, I hope you're reading a damn interesting article to be making that face, Satoshi.
No, it's for some reason I'm trying to copy the show link and then copy the wallet. I don't know what the fuck wallet that is, but I don't need to be scamming people sending them my wallet instead of the show link.
It's all good. Well, we're gonna move right into it. Before we move into it today, I want to cover a few things before we get a little top funnel. I'm gonna ask our host here, how are you guys feeling about the market this week? We'll start with Satoshi, or in general, not just this week.
I'm feeling pretty bullish right now.
Bullish, feeling kind of bullish.
Pretty
You were feeling
bullish.
bullish last week. You're feeling bullish last week.
Pretty bullish.
All right, Infinite.
I like
how are you
this
feeling?
I'm still a perma bear, you know.
Perma
That's just
bear.
me. Yep, I'm a perma bear, you know.
Okay, that's cute. That's all right. All right, cool. Not a panda bear, like an Ethereum Shanghai prepared panda bear. Okay. And myself, I'm feeling pretty much like I felt last week, which is that I thought we would have some type of drawback, some type of retracement. And as you know, clip it up from last week, you know, it was like, oh, I think that'll be a good entry point. And if you've been in the market today, you've been paying attention to the market, maybe you're a trader, swing trade, whatever, you know, it's been crazy volatile. So there's money to be made. Like, hang on tight, strap in. You know, I'm using small amounts of money, and it's like, oh, $100, yes, jump out. It's like, wow, should I go down with it? I think I might. Oh, you just riding that train. It's been crazy lately. So I should also say at this point in time, this show is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, nor are my other hosts here. I'll just speak for them a little bit there. You should always do your own due diligence, or as we like to say in crypto, because too many people that are noobs have been just saying due diligence lately. I'm like, I don't know what influencer y'all listen to that said that, but we call it DYOR around here. Do your own research. Just saying. Let's check out the market today, this week. Oops, I got myself front and center. But that's just because we have not chosen a tab. Boom, boom. Let's come back out here. There we go. Check out the market. Bitcoin up 3% in the last 24 hours. 12% in the last 7 days. Ethereum up 5.3% last 24 hours, 6.8% last 7 days. The funny thing about these two, before I go on with the rest of the list, is that if you were jumping in yesterday, you'd be like, oh man, they're both down like 5%. So basically, they just regained whatever they lost yesterday is all that happened. Like, it was a really volatile time. Like, look at this thing. You can see that right here in the corner, this W action that Ethereum made. And so one more thing that I'll point out with this is, hold on, let me see if I can get you up real quick. This was not part of the plan. This is not part of the plan, but just as like a general, like, what's happening? And I think it'll play out with either of these. I'm going to throw Ichimoku Cloud over the top of this really quickly. One of the indicators that I like to use to give me like a general, this is the direction of the market. So basically the way the Ichimoku Cloud works, and you can go ahead and look this up yourself, always do your own research, right? But basically the way that the cloud is meant to work is if oh my goodness. All right, man. If the token is on the top of the cloud, then that means, hold up. Or if the candles are on the top of the cloud, then that just means that it is bullish at that time, you know, more likely to move toward the upside. However, if the candle on the bottom side of the cloud, that means that it is more likely to move to the downside. So I wasn't sure how difficult that would be to log in there. I was like, bro, what they want from me? What they really want from me? Here we go. And so when we look at the Ichimoku Cloud, again, remember, if the candles are on the top of the cloud, that means it's more bullish. And we are, still bullish. And so this is in 1 day. You can see how far it is above the cloud. The farther it is away from the more chance is for a retest of going back toward the cloud. So it will make its way toward the cloud, whether it's on the bottom or on the top. It's always making its way toward the cloud. The cloud is like the average. So another similar indicator that I like to use similar to that is like the Bollinger Bands. So Bollinger is like a strength index. Basically, top of the band means things are really bullish. Bottom of the band means things are likely more bearish. And the middle of the band is the area, the average that it continuously tests. And so sometimes it uses that middle band, that average, as a support level. And then sometimes it uses it, and like usually when it's more bullish, it'll be using that as a support level. So you're expecting it to maybe bounce off of that before it falls through it. And same thing on the bottom side, where you're expecting that band right there to act more as resistance. So it'll most likely bounce off of it to the downside when it's underneath the band. So those are two indicators. Both of those right now are pointing out. Tell me, Normie, pop quiz, hotshot. Based on what we just said, what does this look like?
Bullish, right? It's still
yes. The answer is bullish. Yeah. It would still be bullish. Like even if we got a retracement back down here at some point, so we got to imagine time is going by. But currently, that only brings Bitcoin down to 20,200, and this is off of a move from $15,000. So it's still up a lot. It's like when people are like, yeah, Bitcoin, this and that, and normie, and you're like, yeah, but that's because you bought at 70,000, Grandpa, on PayPal. Like, who are you? Anyways, back with the rest of the list, just to give you guys a summary, like what the market looks like. We ignore these two right there because stable coins don't count. BNB up 3.6% and 10 or 7% in the last 7 days. XRP right behind BNB. Shout out XRP Army up 2.4% on the day, almost 10% in the week. Cardano next up, and we got some Cardano news today. The JED token to talk about 8.2% in 24 hours. That's a nice move. 16% in 7 days. Dogecoin. I was hearing that Dogecoin is about to meet a golden cross. That's bullish, people. That's like the exact opposite of what happened to USD about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and crypto's been ripping off since then. Oh, maybe the death cross isn't real.
Doge hits a fucking golden cross. It's fucking crazy time out here.
Hey, the funny thing is, I still got some Doge on Doge Chain just earning stuff. It's just earning money, like passively. I checked in the other day. I was like, oh, great. I still have like $100 or something like that, but from like a $60 deposit of Doge over there. That's my moon bag of Doge.
All I know is there better not be no fucking golden crosses out here, or it's time to make some money. Time to make some money.
It seems like it's getting close, but I wonder how the Shibbers will do. I feel like Shib probably going to outperform Doge and take that spot eventually. Solana 9.3% in 24 hours, 18% in 7 days. We're going to go a little bit into this. Then we got OKB token. I think it's the OKX token. OKB 4%, and then 18% in the 7 day. Matic, Polygon 5% and 6% in 7 day. And then Lido, the number one DeFi token or platform, not necessarily token. Probably CRV for the number one token, to be honest, but like 3.2% and 7.4% in the 7 day, followed up by some other favorites that I just recently mentioned. So I just spoke about the DeFi sector really quickly. And fun thing is, like, you see this chart right here on screen. That also looks like a big double bottom on DeFi eventually, right there, and then right here. However, I don't like this so much just because the left side is a little high compared to the bottom right side. Usually you want that side to be higher. So maybe it'll form an even bigger double bottom off to the right over here. But regardless, it's up off of what looked like a bottom of around, 39 billion or so, up to 47 billion. That's a few $1 billion. Yeah, that's a few $1 billion. Lido still holding the number one spot in DeFi. If you didn't make our show last week, and I think we just talked about it last week, maybe we talked about it the week before as well. But Lido is taking this number one spot, not just because they allow for staking, but they have this whole liquid staking narrative. It basically just means that when you put a token in, you get some other token, which can then maybe be used in a more interoperable sense, aka with other things. It's that whole concept that people try to get across about the metaverse, but it happens in DeFi as well, and in cryptocurrency as well, which is why Ethereum is so popular, so that you can use these tokens with each other. Oh my goodness, they can mix and match. They like to call it DeFi Legos, and Lido is positioning itself to be one of the top DeFi Legos after the Ethereum Shanghai hard fork. Whew. All you need to know about the Ethereum Shanghai hard fork is that when it happens, People that have been staking Ethereum, and it takes, was it like 30? I think it's 32 Ethereum to run a node. Now they, like, this whole time they have not been able to unstake their Ethereum if they change their mind, and they have not been able to collect any of the rewards they've gotten in Ethereum, because those need to be also withdrawn. So they got the stuff staked. So after the Shanghai hard fork, they'll be able to move that Ethereum around. So potential sell-off in Ethereum, but people are speculating now that instead of selling off, a lot of those Ethereum stakeholders will start to utilize liquid staking options, which means they get to keep their Ethereum and get another Ethereum type token for it, and then use it in DeFi. And that's likely to happen with the rewards, and that makes a scenario where, again, they don't have to sell that Ethereum. It's very similar to the Morpheus meme, one of my favorite crypto DeFi memes, where they're like, are you telling me, one day Bitcoin, I can sell Bitcoin to whatever the heck? And Morpheus responds, I'm telling you that one day you won't have to sell your Bitcoin. And like, that's pretty much, that's what happens with the top cryptos. If you haven't been paying attention to that narrative, start paying attention, because you really don't have to sell your cryptocurrencies to make money. I don't sell mine. I just make money off them unless I'm trading. Cool. MakerDAO up next. Curve. Pay attention to that one. Also pay attention to Aave. Just some top protocols. And we're just going to name these top 10 protocols here. Convex Finance. So this plays off of Curve a lot. It basically gives you higher yields on Curve pools by using Convex. You end up earning another token. So you end up earning the Convex token and the Curve token if you use Convex. Again, DeFi Lego is being played here. And there's reasons behind this, but we're not going to go into that right now. Uniswap, one of the more popular dexes in crypto, probably the most popular dex in crypto, even though, as we can see here, it's not the top dex. Curve is the top dex in all of crypto and DeFi, but I feel like a lot of people don't know that. Just Lind on Tron. Shout out Tron! Pulling at number 7, Pancake Swap, then Instadap and Compound. Compound, the thing that started off this whole DeFi movement. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Woof. And that is our wrap up of the top 10 DeFi protocols. Any comments from you two on that? I know I'm just kind of, going through these stats really quickly, but sometimes you feel something when you go through those stats. Satoshi's like, nah, I don't feel nothing about that. It's all good.
Not
it's all
exactly.
good. Let's see if you talk over here. Because next up, we got the NFT rundown to do. The Porsche NFT over the last one day. Porsche 911 dropped an NFT, and it is the number one NFT. I say collection. These are collections. I'm not just speaking about an individual NFT. If it's your first time listening to something about NFTs, we're talking about collections when we say NFTs in this sense. But the Porsche 911 NFT collection is the number one collection across the last 24 hours, followed by the Sewer Pass. And for those that don't know, Sewer Pass is like a game for Bored Ape Yacht Club. So yes, those dang apes are still doing stuff. That was the thing about the Bored Apes, is like, yeah, you can hate it if you don't like it, but it's a bunch of developers and people that are smart. They're smart about money, and they're smart about developing things in coding and programming. So you can not like them, but regardless, it's a bunch of smart people. And they got together in a community and they said, yeah, if you have this NFT, then you can do some of this stuff with us. And you'll end up making money from a bunch of different things that we launch and whatever. And as we've covered in other episodes of Trustless Degen, things like airdrops get you to big monies. Sewer Pass, poppin'. Mutant Ape Yacht Club, again, paired up with that Bored Ape thing. And then Bored Ape Yacht Club, we got, I don't know what Proceed with Caution is, but in there, other deed for the other side, again, Bored Ape Yacht Club. This is why people don't get it. They don't get why the Bored Apes is like so popular and stuff. But it's because all these things so far, except for this one, maybe, I don't know what it is, so I can't say, have to do with Bored Apes. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. That's a lot of volume for Bored Apes in a bull run of a bear market, if it is still a bear market. We got CryptoPunks Azuki taking from the Japanese animation style, and then Doodles. And I believe, let me stop there, Satoshi. You said you had something for us with Doodles, or did you just want us to look into Doodles today?
Doodles announced that they're moving over to Flow. They're moving over to Flow. They're doing something on Flow blockchain. They're going to do something with the NFTs over there.
Okay.
So I think that could be something to look out for. I know that flow chart is looking pretty flatlined, just like everything else is, and maybe they could get poked with a stick by the doodles,
I'm like, can you do anything on Flow other than NFTs?
Basically not, no. But I mean, they
Oh,
have different kinds of NFTs, you know, like Top Shots and some others,
see,
a lot of other games, and they have a couple PFPs over there, but
it's all good. I was just curious if like, if it was like made for like other type of smart contracts and DeFi and stuff like that, if there's a potential for that. Because I very much felt like, yeah, no, it's more of like just like this NFT blockchain.
yeah,
Uh,
they have games and
fun.
PFPs basically.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah. Shout out Gods on Chain making it in there. You a little high up there though. Then I just want to look at the 30-day really quickly so you guys can see some of the differences across the 30-day with these. Again, Bored Ape just dominating the top portion of things. So we're going to go down here to Azuki again, making its way into the top 10. CryptoPunks at number 7. The Captains. I don't know what that is, but shout out. Art Blocks and then Art Blocks Exploration. So yeah, when a project do good, it do good. Just because it's right there, it's in the screen. Shout out D Gods in the Solana fam.
Yo, that hurt. That hurt. It hurt you to say that, didn't it?
It did. Oh man, it came out of my mouth. It came up out of me. I don't know what happened. But yeah, shout out to them. I want to take a quick look at some blockchain games. Again, at the beginning portion of the stream lately, wanted to just the market in various fashions. One being just like the top tokens, then how those top tokens are utilized basically with DeFi, and then after you got some fun money, some money to play around with NFTs, or maybe you jumped into NFTs first. But not to ignore this other section, right? And then blockchain games, the real funny. NFTs more utility, but that DeFi utility for NFTs is coming as well. Alien's taking the number one spot in the past. I believe it's just 24 hours. Yeah, 24 hours for blockchain games, so nothing new there. Usually battles it out with Splinterland in at number 2 today. Planet 9, which I still did not look into, but they have the number 3 spot consecutively. Who are these people? Farmers World on Wax. Shout out. Upland, at number 5. Play Mining, number 6. Meta Apes at 7. 9 Chronicles, number 8. And I believe that's isn't that like a mobile game too? I believe. Benji Bananas at number 9. And then at 10, X World Games. Cool. Just for some giggles, just gonna look at that in the 30-day. Without calling it, and let you guys see the slight differences that there might be in there. Yeah, Axie Infinity sneaks up in there in the 30-day, though in the last 24 hours, it just was not in there for whatever reasons. But yeah, that's our early wrap up coverage of what's been happening this week, what the market is currently looking like. How am I getting this here? Yeah, how is that making you guys feel? Any changes?
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine from you.
Going on out there.
Oh man, there's a lot going on. There's
a lot of moving parts.
See, for me, it's been fun. It's been fun out there. I like the market in general, and when games are taking off, it feels like a lot of projects are coming out now, and still developing and stuff. If you're paying attention. And we has been paying attention. All right, want to start jumping into some of our articles for the day. We have on the list Goldman Sachs naming Bitcoin as best performing asset of 2023. Senator introduces a bill to make Bitcoin legal tender in Arizona. Cody, the algorithmic over collateralized. I learned it was over collateralized lately. I was like talking in the spaces and I was like, yeah. He's like, what do you know about Degen? And I was like, just that it's like, Cardano's algorithmic. It's not an algorithmic stable coin. It's over collateralized. I was like, all right, somebody's heard that a lot. It says it's an algorithmic stable coin, but this new over collateralized thing is new news to me. He said it was up to 400% over collateralized. I believe the collateralization from what I read the other day is in Cardano itself, and so maybe that fluctuates or something. Still need to do more research there, but interesting there with Cody and the Degen token. And Cody had a nice rise during the last bull market. If you weren't paying attention to that, one of the influencers really promoting Cody was Crypto Wendy O. Yeah. Oh, that name got you since I didn't name drop. You're like, oh, well, crypto Wendy
Well,
out.
there were a couple of people I remember talking about Cody, but for some reason I don't remember her talking about it that much. It must have been like early on, when Cody, and not to say that I watch a lot of Wendy O, but I guess I haven't heard many people talking about Cody lately.
Yeah. I just pop into Wendy O on occasion where I'm like, okay, shout out Wendy O. You know, you doing this stuff. It's
I
very
do
beginner
too.
friendly. I
I
feel
do
like
too
often.
sometimes, but just like I don't know, I never stay around. Like her videos are just kind of long, but
Yeah,
she has a lot of shorts that pop up on YouTube. I can watch those pretty easily, so I usually do
yeah.
sometimes.
That's your bread and butter, Wendy. That's your bread and butter. Okay, so Circle says USDC is a dollar with superpowers at WEF, aka World Economic Forum. So some Circle stuff there. Justin, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America's new wallet to offer crypto. This is more so speculation from folks, but you know, if you're launching a crypto wallet, you know, it's like, what's the wallet going to do? You know, probably move crypto around. So SushiSwap to launch a perp dex on C network. Have you heard about C? Or it's
What is it?
SEI? I might be saying it wrong.
SEI. No, I haven't heard of that one.
That might be like, no, I feel like that. I feel like you would say C then, SE, like an A sound.
Seems like
But yeah, it's a layer one blockchain. I forget if it's proof of stake or proof of work, but yes, or SushiSwap launching a perp dex over there. And I feel like, you know, with that said, I feel like perp dexes are maybe the move recently. Like, you know, people are like, this is what works. This is what draws in that real yield. An example of another perp dex is, or two other perp dexes are what I've been talking about earlier today before we started the stream. Gains Network, aka GNS, and GMX. Those are both perp dexes, so they rely on perpetuals, you know, being able to trade and go long or short, or do all this other stuff, and the yield comes from those because house always wins. And then they also operate as a dex in the background, so people put their liquidity in the background and do earnings for the trade portion of things, where people get to go long and short, but then also on just swaps. So yeah, it seems like that's probably the move moving forward, which is like really gonna. I'm wondering when people are gonna notice that you don't have to do any of this stuff on Binance anymore, or like any of these other centralized exchanges. Like FTX, the piece fell, but like GMX, like I was already using GMX. Like they were like, oh, FTX is down. I'm like, bro, when's the last? It's been at least 2 years since I have done a trade on a normal exchange, like a Binance or something like that. Like before, like when Binance US hit, I was like, DeFi exists, fools. Like I don't need you. I don't need you. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it's been like 2 years.
Fucking so glad that KuCoin still works. Like I'd be fucking dead in the water.
Damn. You gotta get on this. You gotta get on this other train. Like, does KuCoin have like an earn thing too? I'm just kidding. I don't need to use KuCoin. I've used it like once or twice.
Probably. But
yeah, they have like an earn.
I'm not
really. But they might be a little Genesis with it.
I don't know. No. I mean, I know they have staking to where you could. I don't know who they're loaning money out to, but
so it's not transparent.
It's probably not anyone good. I mean, I'm not saying it's not transparent. I'm saying I don't look at that shit. I'm a Degen. I don't give a fuck. I'm not staking.
White paper?
I'm not staking.
What white paper? Take my money. Okay, I hear you.
I hope they got some documentation out there somewhere, because I'm not trying to show KuCoin or nothing, but it works to buy spot at least. Fuck.
Yeah, okay. All right. Some of these last articles, we're actually going to take a moment. I wanted to dive into this one.
Last articles. That was the first article we did.
No, different time. Like me, that wasn't
okay.
That wasn't off
the dome. Trying to cut it short out here,
man. No. We're gonna dive into these next ones a little bit deeper. Just kind of reading some titles from those last ones, spark some and you really build something up in the gut before we go into these tougher topics. This topic is actually going to be on the cover of today's episode of Trustless Degens. We got Elizabeth Warren. Round of applause, Elizabeth.
She gets no rounds from me. No rounds of applause from me.
No.
I used to like.
Show
I
us
used,
some
I, used,
love.
I used to like Liz before she started talking about fucking DeFi and shit. Like, come on now.
Like, yeah, if she doesn't stop, I'm gonna take her BlackBerry away. I know you're using a BlackBerry.
Take her
Elizabeth.
fucking Pocahontas card away from her if she don't shut the hell up.
Oh my
Yikes.
goodness. Elizabeth Warren rallies crypto critics. You got to rally the critics to defend the SEC's record post FTX. So after FTX, you got to defend the SEC because they've been doing so well lately. Like that XRP case that's going on year. What year is it on Robin Williams and like Jumanji? What year is it in this XRP case? Do you know, Satoshi? I really don't know. I think it's like 3 years.
I'm gonna say year.
It's been 2 presidencies.
It's definitely 2 years, going on 3. I think this year probably.
They're like, dang, this has been in both cabinets.
Still
We
remember
still can't figure it out.
when I tried to short XRP. I tried to short the lawsuit news and got absolutely wrecked. Got absolutely knocked around.
I just remember telling my partner, like, yo, you gotta sell your XRP. She's like, what? Why do I have to sell my XRP? I'm like, it's about to go down.
Because you ain't gonna be able to sell that shit no more if you don't sell it now.
Everybody's gonna delist it. I think you have to sell it.
That liquidity about to be gone in smoke.
I think you gotta sell it.
You better get it while you can.
And then the SEC is about to lose this, like supposedly has already lost this battle with XRP. While we joke about all that, XRP was having, if you don't remember, or maybe you weren't in crypto at the time, XRP was having a grand old time at the start of the last bull market. And then as it was going up and becoming one of these top performing tokens throughout the bull market, the SEC stepped in and said, yo, we got to take you guys to court and this and that. It's probably securities, done all this other stuff. And all these exchanges decided they were going to delist XRP. XRP stopped climbing, and it was pretty much done climbing during the bull run at that point. Everybody else continued to take off for more like hundreds and thousands of percent for a lot of these tokens. XRP stopped moving pretty much. It did some movement, but it wasn't doing Ethereum. Like, it was keeping, people were like, wow, is it going to catch up to Ethereum? Is it going to be the new Ethereum? Is it going to do this or that? And it really just stopped the show. So for the SEC to lose this case, or to not be winning this case, well, you need Elizabeth Warren to save you. And she might do it. So reading from here, the solution starts with the SEC, said Warren, Democrat from Massachusetts, and her keynote. The SEC has a long history of fighting exactly the battles that we now face. I don't know that they do because cryptocurrency's only been around since 2013. But let's go on. The event a simple more quotes. We don't need that. I would ban crypto, another panelist said, which was Hillary Allen, a law professor at American University. Cryptocurrency was actually created because you could possibly, like, when you're talking about Bitcoin, it was actually created because you could potentially ban it, but you can't ban it as software that just exists and that people can just spin up whenever they want and transact with it. So like that type of thinking is exactly what like Bitcoin maxis prey on. Like, I'm not a Bitcoin, but like just speaking, like seeing it up, they're like, yes, go ahead. You can't touch my crypto. Like, they love that. You love that. Interesting. But you're a law professor, so I don't know. Maybe you don't spend as much time in crypto. Probably looking at other aspects of it. Against those actions or for critics in action. Yes, right though. I mean, and I'm one of those critics on FTX in particular. And the reason why there's critics, they don't go into it in this article, but the reason why there are critics about Gensler and FTX specifically is because Gensler was talking with Sam Bankman-Fried on a regular basis. And like, if you're talking to this guy and giving him like information and you're running the SEC and you're coming at Kim Kardashian and XRP for this stuff, but then the biggest crypto scandal of all time happens under your nose to somebody you're talking to, what are you actually investigating? Like, it's like, that's why he has critics, Elizabeth, because he hasn't done anything. And as we covered in our last episode, the best thing that we've gotten so far is Bits Lotto. Like, because when you look at Tornado Cash, there's still like $500 million circulating between the thing. I forget last time I looked, but it's something like that. You're not stopping Tornado Cash. Like, my goodness, like some of these things are made to, like, I don't know, we're trying to regulate the wrong things. And that's my big take with this, is that we're trying to regulate the wrong things. Does there need to be some type of regulation? Yes. On centralized exchanges, on the things that interact with the bridges between you going from crypto to United States dollars, because anything else is like people know what you're buying into and stuff like that. If you're gonna tell me somebody's looking at 10,000x APY, whatever the heck, 20,000, APY, and they're like, this is the most legit thing I've ever seen. Really? Really? They know what they're doing. Oh, I'm gonna buy this owl over here, and the owl might be worth $20,000 tomorrow. Come on, bro. You do not need to be stuck. Like, handle it at a point that makes sense to you. And like, you have to do all this ridiculous. Like SEC has never handled anything like this before because the technology has never existed before. You need to catch up with the technology, and we're obviously not doing that. But we can do. We can regulate banking better so that people like JP Morgan, whatever heck, can stop getting slaps on the wrist for like defrauding people, doing whatever the heck they want. And it's like, oh, you know what? $500 million fine. Cool. We budgeted for that 2 years ago. Stop it.
JP
Stop
Morgan,
it. Regulate better. Yes, regulate better. But regulate the right people.
They love to pay them fines, so.
They do love to pay them fines. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I've done hogged the Elizabeth. Would y'all like that?
No, actually, I agree with everything you said. Literally, all of it. I'm glad you added the regulating part because, like, sometimes you just, hey man, we just need to let the guns fly, and I'm always like,
it's certain types of guns need to fly. But you know what I'm saying? I like because I have nothing against the regulation, and like and I am an American, and I'm a proud American. So I would love to see America be first in this. But I was reading another article, and they were like, "Is America going to fall behind with crypto?" I'm like, "Going to fall behind with cryptocurrency? What are you talking about, bro?" Other nations are like regulating it, like Bitcoin and stuff like that. Is like their legal tender. Like we are behind. There is no going to fall behind. It's like we have a lot of smart people, and and we are the richest country, and so we have the most access to cryptocurrency in the world. That's why we are anywhere near being considered, up with things. But our regulation stuff sucks. We could have made some type of tax law or whatever the heck that made sense before and just been making bang for buck. But we just do the dumbest stuff. And it's like, it's not really when you think about behind the scenes, it's the same thing that stopped everything before, lobbying. Like, why wouldn't we put a pipeline through this aquifer that feeds 30% of the United States country? It's been known to be leaking anyways, like, because it would poison 30% of the country. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
The permit's already been approved. And you're like, we're building tomorrow. It's like, damn.
They shut down the pipeline. They shut down, what is the name of the pipeline that people are always complaining about? Like, he's like, right?
Keystone.
Like, yeah, the Keystone pipeline. Did you know the Keystone pipeline is actually active? Did you know the only part of the Keystone pipeline, but they don't want to say that. They don't want you to know the full truth about what they're trying to lobby for because they don't know what they're lobbying for. Keystone pipeline is actually active. It has not gone down. It is active. It has always been active. It is also Canadian owned. So it's a bunch of Canadians that want to go through the United States and do this stuff. Let's not stop them because we need the Keystone pipeline. Like, I bet these right wingers don't know that either. Like, you're lobbying for Canadians. All right. Step 2. They were talking about the XL portion. The XL portion of the Keystone pipeline, which, as I was saying, goes through an aquifer that feeds 30% of the country's water supply. Bro, it's a good decision. It was not going. Stop. That was a great decision. Keystone actually did like their own analysis of the pipes that they were supposed to use for this pipeline. And they were like, yeah, a lot of these pipes are corroded because they've just been sitting outside for years. These are the pipes that we're going to be using now. They themselves said, no, it's a bad idea, fam. Like, stop.
That's
Come
the
with
best
a better
we got.
Strategy. Y'all like the things that people like. I'm like, do some research on it if you like actually care. Like, I didn't really care about the topic, but I was like, you know what? I would like to be more educated on Keystone. And I went down a rabbit hole one day, and I was like, this is wild. I did not know that it was not shut down. You know where I was getting this information from? Before somebody's like, oh, well, you're a Democrat or whatever. Like, no, I don't consider myself anything. I got this information from Keystone's website. They publicly released this information. There's no debating it when it's on their own website, fam. Like, whoa. You can look at the pipeline right now and see everything that's active. Y'all silly. Go to the website. You can talk about it like that. Jesus.
Yeah. And obviously Shelly works on all that stuff, so that's how I know about it. But there's never been a pipeline in history that hasn't leaked. Period. End of story. Every pipeline leaks. Every engineer will tell you that they leak. They always leak. They have fires and explosions from time to time. Things happen, all suddenly, they'll just have, $150,000 or not dollar, but gallon oil leak, and it's just standard. It happens. And you'd be surprised how often they want to put, petrochemicals and petrochemical products on waterways. In reality, they want to do it because it's cheaper. So, everybody kind of knows it's cheaper to send things via boat and things of that nature. And that's really what happens and why they push it so hard is just save a little bit of money. But yeah, you went off, but I'm just glad that you brought up the whole regulation and stuff. This stuff definitely needs to be policed. Obviously, you don't want the worst police policing, and so it has such a bad thing because oftentimes we do send the wrong police to a location. Half the time you're like, oh, well, should it be the police or should it be somebody who's educated on dealing with somebody with like mental health issues and so on and so forth? Should it be a combination of both? This, that, and the other. And oftentimes policing obviously could use some work because violence is like the only thing I feel like we can deploy. So,
yeah.
But at the very least, we kind of need police. We just need to be better at it.
It's
really like we need better police. Like we have like we have volunteer firemen as police right now. They're like, oh, there's a fire over there, but we need the real police to deal with that. We're gonna go deal with this little barbecue grill that's on fire over here. Because this is much easier. We can handle this. Like we can't handle the big stuff. Like no. So it's just like they're so what's the word? It's reactive, but it's like they lag behind their reaction. So I don't know.
Yeah, like if I were the DOJ in Bitslotto, but I'm a police officer, it's like, yo, please, like they pull over, they see me on the side of the rope. I need help. I flagged them down. Thank you for stopping, officer. Could you please help me? My dog is stuck in the river. It's floating away. And they're like, is that trash under your car? Like, oh, come on, man. Come on, dog. Who's that? Like, my dog? No, sir, I'm going to need you to face the car. Sir! This is like literally how they
You seem to be getting a little aggressive, all right? And I don't like that.
We don't do it correctly. Like, yeah, we need to find the right people to make these laws with and to question for these things. I think they started somewhat where they were like, who, and this is where they kind of messed up too. And I'm saying them as Congress, where the last time we had like Maxine Waters or Waiters, or I think it's Waiters or Waters, doing the whole hearing with all these different exchanges. It was all centralized exchanges, and like that's cool. It's probably going to be really hard for you to get all the decentralized people to actually want to show up. But maybe Zoom, maybe something that you haven't done before so that you can make it happen. Because you need to talk to the people that are actually if you're going to either that or be more straightforward, because again, like they haven't talked to anybody in actual decentral land about things, like not the metaverse, but they haven't talked to any of these actually decentralized people that are running these creating these new projects, I should say, about any of this stuff. They talk to all centralized exchanges. And then when they talk about regulation, their regulation encompasses everything, including the decentralized side of things. And I'm like, but you've never heard a word from them. You brought in a bunch of centralized people, including Sam from FTX and other people that were like competing with him. And that's who you listen. So then regulate that portion of things and be clear about that. And know that you need to be clear about regulating those people because those are the people that you talk to. But from the people that were in that Congress, like a lot of them didn't understand in general. A few of them did, but the majority of them didn't, seem to understand what they were talking about in certain things. So still a lot of room to do. They need some help. You guys need to actually hire some consultants or something around that. I wanted to move on to this next topic, which is for Satoshi. This is for you. You excited?
You're tricking me. See, Brett pull stuff up on me and shit.
Tron as currency. Kingdom of the Netherlands to adopt Tron as legal tender. We should go.
I might need to move to the Netherlands. Seems like I have some Tron over there. I could use some Tron at the gas station, or to buy one of these bikes they got over here on the bridge or something. Or I don't know what they do in the Netherlands, but I feel like Tron could help them.
Saint specific, and it seems like it's going in tandem with like the whole forgot what nation we looked up last time where it was like, yo, they're adopting, I think it was like XRP or something. And like we looked at the
I
nation
forgot
and
what it was.
it was like in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah,
small, like little, yeah. But it was like, all right. So here is again a kingdom in the Netherlands, Saint Martin, I believe is probably how it's spelled or said. Bears plans to adopt Tron. So this is a specific country in the Netherlands, I believe. It's a country located in the Kingdom of the Netherlands in the Lesser Antilles, northeastern Caribbean Sea. So I'm imagining this is going to be kind of like what these tokens have been doing, because Tron, other than this move here, it has aimed at some African countries and stuff before, and so now they're going for like small Netherlands country. But if it works in all these countries and it makes it so they can actually do trade with each other. The same thing for XRP. I don't know.
If they're adding Tron, it's just like, if you're adding one specific crypto as a nation cryptocurrency, you might as well add the rest of them. So it's just like it's going to be a domino effect. But I'm glad they're setting the bar. They're setting the bar kind of high, I guess, with Tron, because if they're going to be like, oh, this works, so we need something else that works. So maybe they won't use anything that's trash.
See.
Yeah, I don't want to shout out anything trash like I don't know, Matic. No, I'm just playing.
Whoa! Stop! He was joking.
I'm just fucking around. I know what I meant to say was Cardano. My bad.
Oh wow! Okay. he's just trying to hurt me now. That's all that is. The words won't hurt me. We'll pop this other article up for us here. Speaking of, you were talking, I'm like, you know what? So let's go into a token is worth a shout out. That is Curve DAO, CRV token. And so when we look at DeFi Llama, again, this is like an aggregator giving us all this information about the top projects. DeFi Curve is number 3 on the list, right behind Lido, which allows pretty much all the staked Ethereum, all these people that are running validator nodes, stuff like that, to utilize Lido. Or if you don't want to like just sell your Ethereum, you can utilize something like Lido. MakerDAO, which operates one of the biggest stable coins in the crypto space, DAI. And then right behind that, something that a lot of people don't really pay that much attention to, in my opinion, is Curve on all these different platforms. Curve with a TVL, total value locked, of $4.78 billion. It's a little bit of money. So yeah, I guess I would, before we dive into this, a what?
I said it sounds like Curve is popping out here.
Oh yes, it is. It kind of is. Are you familiar with Curve, Satoshi?
Not very much. I know they have a lot of like what's the word? Like pools, like DeFi pools and shit like that.
Yeah, I believe anybody can go in there and make a Curve. What's the name they call it? Gauges. And I forget like the specifics of like how you get the Curve gauge specifically to then emit CRV tokens, but otherwise you can incentivize these gauges with your own tokens. So it's also like similar to, let's just like saying Curve can basically work for projects like a massive yield farm. So think of how like certain yield farms work. If you're familiar with crypto and DeFi, usually yield farms work is you have a native token to that farm or that protocol, and then you have some other token, which is like a blue chip token that you pair with it in liquidity. And so usually you pair that liquidity on some DEX. And so a lot of people are familiar with Binance Smart Chain, especially if they're like more Degen or whatever. And so you would pair up that liquidity on PancakeSwap, and then you put it in whatever the farm is. With Curve, you just pair up the liquidity on Curve. And in fact, you don't even have to buy the 2 tokens on Curve. You can just submit Ethereum or one of the most popular stable coins for the majority of their pairs, and it'll convert it into the pair for you, basically. So Curve is basically it's not just like a top DEX in terms of TVL and like volume and stuff. It's a top DEX for stable coins. And for stablecoin transactions, it's the DEX with the least slippage for stablecoins. And so it's made for you to be moving one United States dollar for another United States dollar. Somebody might be like, what do you mean? Well, like in DeFi, there are a bunch of different stable coins. And so to help illustrate this concept to you, for anybody who's listening and you're like, there's more than one stable coin type of thing, or what do you mean? How many different stable coins could there be? Well, let me have this thing load in here. It's not doing it for me. There it is. How many stable coins are there that are, and I should also preface this with saying that, you know, I feel like the media, it's probably for their own lack of knowledge, honestly. So I don't like really, you know, bother them too much when they do these things. But a lot of people like concentrate on like USDD, depegging, the Tron stablecoin, and UST, Luna depeg was the big depeg of the year, algorithmic stablecoin. However, I stated this before, the majority of stablecoins in DeFi and in crypto are over collateralized somehow. There's more than 100% of an asset backing that thing up for there to be $1. So there's something else backing up. And when it is exchanged out, then it disappears. And it's very much like quantitative easing and tightening. There we go. No problem, fam. So it's very much like that. So just going through so a lot of these stablecoins, I'm saying that because a lot of these stablecoins you're going to see here are over collateralized in some capacity, either by straight up the top stablecoins, by other stablecoins, or by some type of blue chip asset, but they're over collateralized by something. So we have Tether, very well known, probably the most well known. USDC, Binance coin, so it's BUSD. DAI, which I just mentioned from MakerDAO. Frax, a lot of people don't know about Frax, but Frax is top stablecoin. True USD. So this is on Tron and other places. USDD, the one that I was just talking about. People are usually talking about, oh, UE is not on peg. Okay, cool, but it's still 8 tokens, and as you can see, all these other ones are doing fine. And where's the hate on these ones? We're going to keep going for just a second. You're going to see how many of these stable coins there are that are doing, and each one of these is part of a protocol or project that's doing something else, similar to how you have different banks. So it's like another comparison of this, going back in time for history, is the United States used to have a bunch of different currencies. Each state actually had their own individual currency, and these different currencies of states were backed by different goods or materials or whatever have you. And so some of them will be backed by something like if it was a rice farming state, rice, you know, and it's backed by a whole bunch of the rice. And like that's what they're using to back their dollars, or tobacco, and it's backed by tobacco. So look that stuff up, or watch our Crypto 101 series. We also talk about that. But similar thing is happening here in DeFi, where a lot of these are being backed up by blue chip tokens. So usually Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then like stable coins, or just straight up the top stable coins, or a mix of the top stable coins. And so it usually does not mix much outside of as far as stable coins that are going to back a token, Tether, USDC, and then like BUSD. And these are because like these tokens are known to have reserves in actual USD. So while people make a 1-for-1 for something, it's being backed by some actual USD. And in the case of a lot of these DeFi protocols, more than one of these types. So like Frax, for instance, would be backed by like DAI, USDT, USDC, and then like ETH. But they're backing themselves with more than one asset. So yeah, that's how a lot of these are working. Just to go down this list a little bit more, we have Terra Classic USD, sadly at 2 cents. This is the one that failed, that everybody knows about. And it's this high up on the list because when we look at it, you can click in here, see if it loads quick enough. Yeah, $216 million, $216 million market cap. So that's enough to put it up here. So that means these other tokens that are underneath it just don't have as high as a market cap that they are working with. But that they are still remaining stable. So they're just not working with as much money as was in the Terra Luna situation, just to nod at like how big of an issue that was. Above that, Liquidity, another one of the top DeFi protocols. Magic Internet Money, another one of the top DeFi protocols. More to do with Frax. USDJ, that's actually a Tron stablecoin, which is what made me wonder why they are making USDD. I'm like, you guys already have USDJ, whatever. Origin Dollar, Iron Bank, just to name a few. But as you can see, as the list goes on, there's a lot of stable coins that don't get any talk, don't get any ride. And the vast majority of these that are actually operating in DeFi are overpegged and working and like not failing. So there's a few situations where they see things like buy or whatever. And these are like lesser stable coins, I guess I would call them, where, I don't know, they're just attached to like a product specifically that is doing something. But for the most part, if you look at these things the chart goes 99.98 to $1, and sometimes they're meant to be like 0.99 or or 0.98 or 1.01. Sometimes they're actually meant to try to sustain these other amounts, and not what people might think. But yeah, just a quick overview of stablecoins and DeFi, and why that specifically, because we were talking about Curve and this article here, just talking about Curve may explode to the upside, reaching $13. And so we just did a brief overview of what Curve is, as far as like allowing things, and that it's the #1 stablecoin swap. Now, the thing that might push Curve to the next level is that Curve is releasing their own stablecoin, and I'm not sure if they even mentioned this in this article. Honestly, I just like, oh, you know, there's been a lot of bullish news on Curve lately. Let's see if they cover that. I'm not really seeing it. And CRV, except 3 CRV, staking, pledge out. Nope. But big catalyst for Curve, other than this whole Convex. I mentioned Convex earlier in the stream and how you can earn Curve tokens from using Convex, and it's like earning double. But Curve is going to be launching their own stablecoin, CRV USD. And this is an interesting stablecoin that will actually, it's like there's like a leverage proponent to it that's being made available as well, or borrowing and lending, I should say, not leverage, but borrowing and lending component to this US CRV USD stablecoin, so people can borrow and lend using it. And the thing is, when you mint, so normally in borrowing and lending, if you borrow, like, so you have to supply some collateral, and then you can borrow something against it if you want. You don't have to. You can just earn by submitting your collateral and just be earning that way. But if you do choose to borrow, then maybe you borrow that exact same token so that you're like kind of like neutral anyways. Or because then if you're neutral, then you only have to pay back that exact same token. So you don't have to pay back. If you don't sell the token, you're just waiting on the token price to go up or down, and you just borrowed more money of something. And the idea with being neutral is like when the token goes up a whole bunch, then maybe you sell it and wait for it to go down, and then you buy even more of that token, and then you make a profit. That's really how borrowing and lending works. It's like the first steps of like how these leverage trading platforms work in crypto. If you weren't sure like what the real purpose of those were, and speaking in general to anybody out there. But with this new CRV USD token, it's going to play both sides of the borrowing and lending kind of for people that borrow that token. So you'll supply your normal stable coins, and you'll be able to borrow this CRV USD. And again, like with borrowing and lending, let's say that you weren't going to borrow that same exact token that you supplied. There's a potential for your loan to go out of balance, and so your loan becomes worth more than, or you owe more than what you hold in value from that your loan, and so it goes out of balance, and that's when you get liquidated. And so what this token is going to do is it's going to play that for you, and it's going to automatically, as things start to get unbalanced, it's going to automatically sell off your collateral basically into the CRV token to keep you afloat at this neutral level, so that your loan basically never goes out of balance. So like no liquidation for your borrowing. It'll just keep selling or buying or selling back to whatever side it needs to do to keep your loan within, what the correct wording be? I don't know.
Equilibrium.
Yeah, like equilibrium.
Good
Thank you.
Good to protect your loan, because you don't want to get fucking liquidated out of nowhere.
See, so yeah, other protocols will be using this.
It would be beautiful when, like, you think about your bank, and so if you think about all these DeFi protocols being over collateralized, wouldn't it be wild if the money in your bank was over collateralized?
Wouldn't it?
Like not having to worry about your.
Like some people think it is.
Yeah, some people have no idea, but it's just like, I wonder how many years it'll take for our, money to be over collateralized, or even like 50% collateralized or something.
Yeah. I'm like, it's interesting. I feel like, maybe we get there with the international banking system SWIFT shifting to blockchain technology. There being all this talk about CBDCs. The United States is going to be behind on the whole CBDC thing. Other countries are already adopting them. So they're going to be that much more strict with their monetary policy and be able to perform more efficient monetary policy. How long are we going to let that happen before we want control of that, and to be more efficient than the other countries? Like, you don't want to just let yourself link behind because we just don't want to do it. We prefer all this other red tape. So yeah, I think eventually it'll probably happen to some degree. I was in a Twitter Spaces actually talking about something like that.
I think that you know, I know that I know that countries don't want to fall behind. Certain countries don't want to fall behind. But did you hear that thing that it's like on Binance, like something happened with the bank they used to deposit and withdraw, and now you can only withdraw or deposit a minimum of $100,000.
I'm like, I didn't hear that there was like an issue with them having that. More so that like I forget if it was like I think it was like Circle or something, and like it was just like a rule that they like not like Binance had like some type of issue behind the scenes, but just more so like they were like, yo, you can no longer do this. Like these are the rules. It has to be at least 100,000.
Well, when you would withdraw and deposit from Binance, I think International, whatever bank they were using to move the wires, I think said that they're changing their policies with crypto, and now if you want to deposit or withdraw, it has to be at least 100K. And I heard a pretty interesting theory that, you know, that's just kind of, you know, the bankers or the government, I don't know, trying to stop like retail people from being able to get in to crypto, because if you have to have 100K to even deposit, then it's just like, you know, who the fuck is really going to be getting in? So it's like, yeah, you don't want to stifle innovation in your country. Well, in some countries, but in some countries, they're like trying to stop everyone from getting in before they can, or stop everyone from switching to a different system or something. I don't get it.
Yeah. It's like silly to me to some degree, and like again, it kind of just like feeds my thesis of like why they really need to like regulate these like centralized exchanges better. Because I feel like a lot of these like what they're trying to tackle or something like that. It's like just regulating the central exchanges, because there's millions of people right now that are just in DeFi and crypto, have Bitcoin, know where to send their Bitcoin to a certain wallet address to get it in onto the Ethereum blockchain or any other blockchain. Like that money's not going to just disappear. Like, and even if like, they were like, if the United States government was to come around and be like, everybody has to turn in their gold or their Bitcoin, excuse me. That's never happened before. But if they were to come around and say that, there would still be millions of dollars worth of cryptocurrency floating around in the ether space, the same way that they shut down Tornado Cash. And Tornado Cash still has millions of, like, it barely moved. It was like, oh no, you can no longer use Tornado Cash. You know what it did? It was like, it was moving this much money. And then it said, and now it's still moving a ton of money, fam. Like the people that were using it are not going to stop using it because the United States government said you can't use that. Like, what was it? The exploiter of like the wormhole exploiter just put like some insane, like a record-breaking amount of Ethereum into Lido, the number one DeFi application we just said, so that he can use the whole STE thing. And I'm like, bro, you're not stopping him. Bitch Lotto though, but this guy is just moving hundreds of millions of dollars.
We need to regulate the SEC. That's who needs to get regulated.
Yeah, honestly,
they're not doing a goddamn thing. Yeah. They're not helping nobody. They're just like, I don't know how to describe what they're doing. They're like, hey, you could get hurt over here, and we're gonna help you not get hurt, but only after you get hurt.
Like it's just like lobbying or something.
The whole collateralizing and it being over 100 or 50%, I just don't see that happening. Like you guys were kind of saying that, and I was like, I just can't see it. I just neither. Like
we like to print money too much, and it's a historic thing too. Like countries, especially since they like war so much, to pay off war debts. That's really where the inflation comes from for a lot of countries. It's the number one reason for countries being in debt is war. And they just print money to pay for war.
Yeah, I just like you guys were mentioning. I'm like, that ain't gonna happen. Because like even the other way around, to where like let's say it's just banks. It's like they want to loan the money, they want to make money, they want to play with the money that's in the bank, and I don't know. As soon as it starts getting to a point to where it's gonna mess up somebody's ability to manipulate money and be in financial markets and manipulate those, like I'm just kind of like
Like the New York Stock Exchange randomly crashing?
Yes. And I figured you guys were going to get to there. Like, I don't even know anybody who would look at that and go, I think everybody has to get the little tinfoil hat on at that moment. And
right?
Go, really?
And then the market moved so much because that was and then the market just went crazy down. Like,
and then it's like, the guy I listened to talked about it, and he's like, this has happened before. And he's like, a bunch of people got fucking rich because there were still people playing around in the system, kind of doing what they needed to do, sell what they needed to sell, and then it went down and they just bought on the fire sale. And then they made more money. You know, and it's just like one of those things to where it's like the military or the American military not showing up for work. Like, like I'm sorry, but you're just not going to convince me that happened. Like, there's just no way that you convince me that, oh, you know, they just didn't show up to work today. It's like that unbelievable. Where it's like, you know, it's like there's no good excuse, you know. And so, but like the collateralizing, I just can't see it, man. I just can't see a world to where.
No,
bro, there's literally no words. I just can't.
They can't take our money and gamble with it. They'd be broke. So I don't see it either. But it would be nice. It would be kind of cool to be like, oh,
ain't no debt
fucking
ceiling.
Bank of America fucking moved a bunch of money over here. It'd be nice to be able to see it on a blockchain instead of having to like find an article about it 6 months later.
I mean, like the scary thing about our government, you know, is like we gonna see it. Everybody gonna be like, they did it, and they'll be like, so you guys say that, but because they kind of already do it, you know. It's like, you know, when they're like, hey, the Pentagon, $13 trillion are missing, and it's like, is it missing? Is it really missing?
Is it missing?
Come on, guys, like, is it missing? Is it though? Is it though? It's like it ain't missing.
It's missing like Sam Bankman-Fried's money was missing. like he only had 100,000 left.
It's like we know where it went. We know where it went. They just don't want to tell you. You know, it's like okay, you know. So
look, you didn't lose your money. it's somewhere.
Okay, yeah, somewhere.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
I don't know. It's just. I don't know. That's just. You guys were talking, and I was just over here like, wow, yeah, yeah. I don't know.
We can dream. We can dream infinite. Okay.
All right.
Someone has to. Okay.
All right. I'm a boost the spirits a little bit here. I mean, the spirits are high because, you know, how can you not be boosted spirits when you're talking about over collateralization of the United States dollar and banks? Something that's never been done before. We're futurist. All right. Moving forward.
We gonna believe it anyway. You know, fuck it.
NFT marketplace for pro traders could unseat OpenSea. Ooh, I like Blur. Are you familiar with Blur, Satoshi?
I know they didn't give me my goddamn airdrop. I know that.
Yeah, I was not bound to get one because I do not trade NFTs on Ethereum. I am a pleb.
I don't support any project that doesn't give me an airdrop. So
they're gone. They're going to though.
No, they're not.
What? You're not eligible?
No, I listed NFTs on there and everything.
But there's a second airdrop coming, right?
I tried for that one too.
No, it's not. It hasn't. They like pushed it back to like the 30th or something like that.
See, that's where they fucking up, pushing shit back.
Yeah. It was supposed to happen earlier this month, but then they pushed it back to like the 31st, I believe, or no, it's like it might even be Valentine's Day, I believe, or something. But yeah, it got pushed back. So rivaling OpenSea, the largest NFT marketplace by trading volume and daily active users, Blur currently commands around 32% market share, with OpenSea at nearly 49%. And most I feel like most people have probably heard of OpenSea, like Infinite. You've probably heard of OpenSea.
Yeah.
Exactly. But have you heard of Blur?
No.
Exactly. And they got 39% market share already. Blur bound to do the dang thing. And they haven't, as Satoshi is upset about, he ain't even got his airdrop yet.
Yeah, they fucking up, bro. They're fucking up big time. I ain't even thinking about their ass if they ain't giving me no airdrop.
Man, I feel you. So behind OpenSea, we got Blur, X2Y2. I don't even know that one. Looks rare. CryptoPunks for their own thing, really. Pseudo-swap's a pretty dope one. It's like DeFi and NFTs, like or it's like an NFT. What they call themselves, an NFT AMM. I believe they call it themselves, like basically. So it's a really interesting concept to me. Need to play around. They need to get on different chains so I can play around with them. Don't want to do the gas fees on ETH. Dang it, I'm a broke boy.
Don't do that.
Whatever. You know, kid called me a brokey the other day, and I was like, "What?
What?
Who?
Why?
Like, you're brokey." And I'm like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Do I really have to go to Google right now?" I'm like, "Are you trying to riz me?" Like, sorry. Like, and I went, and it's an Andrew Tate popularized term. They just like it's basically like as in my day and age, we would call you a broke boy, but now it's a brokey because he's like part Romanian or whatever. I don't know. I then had to hit him with some transaction receipts from the blockchain and shut his mouth. Enjoy working at McDonald's today.
He definitely wasn't ready for that.
He wasn't ready for them transactions. What is this? He said, what is this? That's BSC scan, fam. So that's just one chain. Anyways,
You don't want to see that GMX.
You don't want to see my GMX gains. I don't want to see what I'm doing over there. Numbers. Yeah, 5 coffees before lunch. Talking gains.
We're talking gains.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Read some more about this Blur here, because Blur, I do find it to be a really cool platform in general. It's a decentralized exchange, or at least operate one from what I've seen. And what do I mean by that? Like the way the projects are listed on there. So basically, you make an NFT, it's gonna pop up on Blur. And the same thing can be said for OpenSea, but I think OpenSea has a little bit more red tape around it. Again, I have not personally used Blur other than searching through it the same way that I have with OpenSea, and I have used OpenSea, but man, it's really just because Blur is so new and it's only on Ethereum. But also, I think that's something else to take note of. That Blur again has 39% market share versus OpenSea's 49 or whatever the 30% was. And they are only on Ethereum right now. OpenSea is on like Ethereum, Polygon, whatever else. Blur is over here with the, yo, you got to have money to play with me, and like commanding market dominance. Like, wow, that's all I got to say. I think it's because like as they were about to say here, if you look at the data available on Token Terminal, OpenSea has more daily active users than Blur, but Blur's volume is higher because it is mainly used by more advanced traders. I think that's to do with like the way that they break down their attributes and all this information, stuff like that you can get on Blur, and just the way that they like make it so that you can surf around Blur. I was on OpenSea recently, and I don't know, it's not the easiest place to just skim through and find like the NFT collections that you want.
You gotta click so many fucking buttons all the time.
I was so surprised, and like when I would like go backwards from like a collection that I was just looking in, and I did find the Smurf Society. What's up? I will be in there. I'm gonna get my Smurfs. But it was like after I clicked out of the collection, they like sent me back to like the home page and erased like all my filters, but like one, like it gave me like the same chain. I'm like, bro, this is so horrible. Like, what are you guys doing with your gains? Fix this. Get a better dev. What?
You fucking up the games, I'll tell you that. They ain't invested in user experience. I can tell you that right now. OpenSea's been the same for like years.
Oh, it's like playing a video game and like you get out of the dungeon and they just like, oh, back to the start of the level. Like what? Because I went in that one dungeon door. Like no, like it's broken. They need to fix it.
Is this still beta? What?
It's just like I feel like our generation just like that's so painful. It's so painful thinking about it. It's just like you want to be mad. You just yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
Feel for them. They do have, most NFTs over there. You got Polygon on them right now, but if Blur gets on Polygon, I think it's a wrap for OpenSea. I think they have a bad rep from the last bull run. You pissed some people off. You guys did insider trading. And I know it wasn't all of you. But somebody leaked an email. And so, it is what it is. Now we know.
They did the best.
Real rap raw.
Over at OpenSea. It wasn't cool. Insider trading. And I just feel like there's a lot of fucking it's not OpenSea's fault that there are scams, but the way that they handle a lot of those apes getting scammed and shit is just not really cool.
Yeah, how many bored apes are gonna get scammed on your platform and like people?
It's pretty alarming.
And then this one is just 99.99 less than somebody else, and they didn't just transfer it directly to their wallet. It just happens. Okay.
At one point, I was really scared of OpenSea. I'm like, man, why are all the apes getting scammed on OpenSea? Like, what the fuck? I was like, y'all need to be careful. Something's wrong with that shit.
All right. Before we wrap things up and go into a more a revisit of how you feeling about the market, and I kind of wanted to touch on 2 NFT projects which we talked about briefly before. Last, a more serious DeFi crypto topic, which we also cover in the headlines. was Degen. One technical hurdle left as Cody announces Cardano stablecoin launch next week. We've Satoshi and I have been saying we've been making some pretty good calls lately, and I think we've listed 2 calls in this stream, this episode so far that are probably going to happen. That one article was talking about Curve going to $13. I don't know if it's going to go to $13 because Curve was like, it was like a 70-cent token this summer, but that was coming off of high and stuff like that. But people got I don't know what Curve's at right now. What's Curve at right now? It's not going to be on this top page. You got to know about this token to know about this token. CRV is Aptos. Wow, they're like, do you mean Aptos? No, CRV. $1.04. So yeah, this is going up to $13 potentially with the launch of this Curve stablecoin coming out. So that was one. I didn't talk about this other one, but Aave and their token. So Aave is another token that I'd be looking at. Again, we don't offer financial advice or anything like that. And this, I'm not a financial advisor, but I'd be looking at Aave too because Aave has their own stablecoin coming out soon. Go token, and it's the stablecoin narrative. That's why I'm pointing these out. It's the stablecoin narrative, and then Cardano has a stablecoin coming out. It is being launched by Cody here. So I got a firm on Cardano or DAO or DAO. I don't know exactly what Cody is, but they have their own token, which was bullish during the last run. But let's read up a little bit here, see if we can get you guys a little bit more insight on Cody and their Degen token. Before I do so, is there? I got to test our our host here. You guys familiar with Degen at all? Infinite. We'll start with the Infinite.
No.
You're telling me you're not familiar at all with Degen?
No.
All right, that's from a resident normie, Satoshi.
All I heard is that it's some type of an over collateralized stablecoin.
Okay, heard it's an over collateralized stablecoin. Smurf. I initially heard that it was just a algorithmic stablecoin, but I recently was schooled in a Twitter Spaces that it is not just an algorithmic stablecoin; it is also an over collateralized algorithmic stablecoin, which does give me a bit more interest in it overall. I was wondering why Charles Hoskinson was so hyped up on this project and he called it an algorithmic stablecoin. Blame Charles, number one. Blame Charles because he out there giving me all bad crap. Love you, Charles. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, learning that it's algorithmic and over collateralized, like, well, tell me more. This is how money needs to work. This is how it should be working. Over collateralized and then doing like the CRV USD token, which sounds like one of the most interesting. I think that and then Degen become like 2 of the most interesting tokens coming out in recent memory. We are pleased to share another update of Degen's progress and to inform you that the launch is scheduled for next week. This was sent on January 24th, so expect that. There might be a Cardano move by as early as next week because even if Degen is a stablecoin for it, right? But if there's money to be made in the ecosystem, this is the same thing to say like when any new project comes out, APY is going to be higher on that project, right? And so money is going to move around in some capacity to take advantage of the high APY, even only for a short time. It will move around to take advantage of that APY. And as more and more people, as more liquidity piles into that opportunity, then the returns will diminish somewhat. But that's the reason why I think Degen and Cardano are probably going to, Degen's a stable coin, so it's not going to go up. But, the gains around are probably going to be nice. And then Cardano is probably going to benefit from some of this movement over the next week. And this thing is just really just telling us that, company blog posts the only hurdles left for the chain index syncing process, which started last week. Stablecoin issuer expects that this could take up to 14 days since the announcement of Degen launch for next week. Yeah. So again, you guys aren't doing a really good job. I feel like maybe this is the Cardano community's fault or like the larger Cardano. And I'm starting with you, Charles. Y'all need to start talking about the fact that it's over collateralized more. Like I like, it's cool that it's algorithmic and stuff, but that was so early bull run of 2021. Like we're in 2023 now, Charles. We need to hear about how it's over collateralized.
Being algorithmic is a red flag, to be honest with you.
Yes, right. That's what I'm like, bro. They like need to be talk. Okay, down here it says it actually. I need to be like this needs to be toward the top. For context, Degen is an over-collateralized algorithmic stablecoin issued by Cody that will run on the Cardano network. The stablecoin will remain or maintain its peg through a 400% to 800%. Yeah, dang. Whew. Collateralization ratio with its reserve coin Shen. So they have a reserve coin. Ooh, is that like a? Are we going to have like a new what's that OHM situation or something like that over here? You know, like what's up? Yeah, that sounds like to me. So that sound like to me. Per details revealed by Cody. That sound like maybe I only got a little bit of I got it like 20 30 hours over on Cardano just kicking it right now in was it Sunday swap, but I might have to up my bags. I might have to claim some and like check that out. Sounds sexy. Getting 1 or 2 Shin early might be the move. But yeah, that's what we got for you in Cardano news today. To wrap things up, I'm going to come back over here to our NFT screen. Let you guys breathe on that 400 to 800% collateralization real quick. How is that not the top funnel of their story when they're talking about this algorithmic? Like, they don't get that that's a red flag? Like, that's where I'm confused. I'm confused on how they talk about that so much. Like, yo, yeah, but you remember UST, right? Because that was algorithmic. And, like, so people don't like that anymore, bro. Like, oh, my God. Wow. Like, who's their PR person? How do you mess that up? All right, I want to check out. We want to check out Pudgy Penguins for one. On the NFT side of things, just to end this with something light. I type it in and hopefully it pops up. Yeah, but nope, that's .eth. You're really gonna make me roll through here. I see it in the top right corner. That's a Pudgy Penguin. That's all I want right now. It's like a Pudgy. All I want. It's all I want. But yeah, Satoshi. While I'm searching this, can you share with us any knowledge that you have about Pudgy Penguins and why has it been such a token? Or not token, excuse me. I mean technically, but NFT.
There are a couple influencers. I want to say the same guy that was doing the Sappy Seals. Maybe, I'm not sure, but what's interesting about them?
Was that
I
it?
heard
32. Was that it?
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah, I think 32.
32, my lord. Yes.
Is that they have some type of cross what do you call it? Cross-chain bridging, I think, through Stargate is what my buddy was saying. I haven't got a chance to look at that at all, but I think it's interesting that you can use a bridge to move your, NFTs across different chains and stuff, and if you needed to. I'm not sure why they need to move them over, but you can if you want to, move it off of Ethereum. At least it's an option for you. That's about all I know about the Pudgies. Yeah, it's another PFP type thing.
See, yeah, from what I can gather about the Pudgy Penguin is, to me, it feels like a new coming of something like a Bored Ape Yacht Club. To be honest, it's very much in that vein of community-based profile picture type of NFTs. That's not to say that they won't, like Bored Ape Yacht Club. The number one NFT collection in the last 24 hours, I believe it was the Sewer Pass from Bored Ape Yacht Club, which is a game that they released. Bored Ape Yacht Club also released the Ape coin token last year, and so if you had the Bored Ape, you got like $400,000. Something it was ridiculous. You got paid, fam. You sold it at the top. You got paid. You like, oh cool, I can take the next decade off. Like, that was nice for owning that ape. That was pretty nice, And what this says here for
thank you for holding me. Here's more money.
It's more money. D2 for another 10K. It's ridiculous.
And then they went and started slapping some utility on their actual coin. Like, who does that shit? I don't know, but they did it.
What's wrong with them? Being smart people and developers.
It's fucking like it's almost like that's what everyone wanted. You fucking never know.
It's almost like they were like messing with cutting edge technology, and they actually understood. It was like, what? I don't understand what's wrong with this. Whatever. Anyway, I'm just gonna read this Pudgy Penguins website here for you guys just a little bit. It says, "Welcome to the world of Pudgy Penguins, Web3 born brand that fosters creativity, freedom, and brand produces content, merchandise, collectibles. We believe in the power of play and imagination, and we're committed to helping unlock your inner child. It's a very cold place, but you'll be warm with your new favorite penguin family." And yeah, again, it's very much community-based, centric, but I think the Pudgies will be like one of these board communities in the future where maybe there's a Pudgy Penguin token that comes out eventually. Maybe there's games that come out with Pudgy Penguins. Maybe they do a little bit of V Friends type of thing where Gary V has turned V Friends into, event tickets and to Toys R Us deals. I don't understand why these penguins can't be Toys R Us toys as well. And I think this has enough smarty pants in it to actually make something like that happen. Like when I look at the Pudgy Penguins,
They should make some plushies, boy. They should make some plushies.
They should. But this community on Twitter, it's a bunch of giga brains, bro. It's like they're not dumb people. They're not just like Degens either. It's like, yeah, it's but they understand crypto. They understand mathematics. They understand markets. It's a bunch of smart people that want to signal to other smart people. And so, yeah, like it's cute and stuff. But I see this one actually going pretty far. So, to be slept on, Pudgy Penguins. Let's go back here and see what their volume was. Did it tell us like a place? Let's see what their floor price is. It's probably going to be a few Ethereum for a Pudgy Penguin. They got their own market. Oh, no Sappy Seals. I think recently messed with 5.5 for the floor. For the floor, so that's was that 5,000 plus 10, 7, about $7,000 to $8,000 for Pudgy Penguin. You want to be part of that community? Show the world that you got giga brain and racks. I'm smart and I got racks. What's up? Pudgy Penguins. The last NFT project. Me check it out here. And while check it out, and ask the same thing. Smart and paid. Sappy Seals. Shout out to our boy Jefferoth. The Jeffster.
I got an NFT project you should look up. It's called Only Punks.
Only Punks.
But don't look it up on screen. No, I'm just playing.
Okay. Wow, bro, stop. I was like, bro, I don't even know how to take this now. I feel like I'm just being trolled. I'm just being trolled. It's not real. It's not real, y'all. Wow. Yeah. Choke on it.
I couldn't even keep a straight face as I was saying it.
I just explained a lot with the Pudgy Penguins, so I'm going to leave it at that for the Sappy Seals on my end, because I don't know too much more about Sappy Seals other than it's very similar to the Pudgy Penguin community. Another bunch of folks. I feel like they're that much closer to the NFT side of things, where I feel like the Penguins are a little bit more traders and DeFi folks. Satoshi, what's your take on the Sappy Seal community? And then also let me know if I'm supposed to look up this Only Punks.
Nah, don't look up Only Punks. And I don't know a goddamn thing about Sappy Seals.
Oh, nothing about Sappies. Yeah. All I can make is that they're very similar to that community. I see they have a stake button up here, so yeah, staking your seals and get you some token. I forgot that happened actually. So stake your Sappy Seal NFTs to start earning Pixel, the in-game utility token for the Pixelverse today. So again, these are communities full of developers, people that at least understand Web3. I think Sappy Seals is a little bit more on that gaming NFT side of things, and so not really surprised that I'm seeing them come out with this this token and this whole metaverse thing so early. However, at the same time, in the same breath, I think that a Pudgy Penguin community doing something like that would probably be that much more successful. One of the Pudgy Penguin, the creator, I think is Wab.c whatever, I don't know, Wab something, on crypto Twitter, is one of the most influential crypto Twitter people, and that's a Pudgy Penguin. I believe. Let me see. What's that Wab? What's that Wab? Watch it be like, nope, I'm a seal. Dang it! Look, I'm looking at both of your projects because I believe in you, but don't hurt me. Wab Sappy
So if you
seal.
had a
Wab
choice
that ETH.
between a penguin and a seal, what are you taking?
Oh, Wab is a seal. Ooh. I don't know. Now that I know Wab is a seal.
No, what? I don't know it.
I gotta eat my words a little bit
I
there.
don't know.
Wab.eth is his ETH name, but it's Wab. No, his @ on Twitter is Wab DOT ETH. So nope, they're both Wab.eth. Which one would I take? I kind of vibe with, I vibe with the penguins.
Okay. I think I agree.
You agree? Let me see what about if the sappy seals have a higher floor? Which do you think has a higher floor? Hit me with it.
I'm gonna say the penguin's got a higher floor, but yeah, I don't know.
All right.
I'd still take the penguin.
All right, let's see. If you're wrong, we'll take your house. Infinite, what's your bet? Which
Go with the
would you take?
I'm not
Penguins?
gonna fight it. Yeah. I mean,
Higher floor and you'd rather?
It penguins, because I mean, like it comes down to like the way you described it, to where it's like, hey, look, they're doing a lot of things. They're
But the same thing for the
curve.
seals. I said the same
No,
thing
you
for
said
the
it's
seals.
smart NFT gamification, which is it's a different
that's just
approach.
more the that's just okay.
It's like, you kind of start mixing in like gotcha feelings in there, and I'm kind of like, I'm not a big fan of gotcha.
All right. So he's more of a step. Okay. Let's check out the marketplace. Let's see who wins this battle. Is it going to be Pudgy Penguin or Sappy Seal? Man, this might not be the right marketplace to go to. Let's see. Just gonna have to type it into OpenSea, and we just dogged OpenSea, so they deserved it though. They deserved it.
Go ahead and crawl back. Go ahead and crawl back to OpenSea, man.
Okay, it is OpenSea.io. I usually don't like clicking the top. I don't like clicking anything on Google these days, but I know this is correct. Got you. It's an ad. Like no, no. They don't put on ads on Google, folks. Not if you're dealing with crypto. It's like, look, if you only get on the internet to like shop on Etsy and Amazon, go for it. Have a nice day.
Well,
you got your wallet on there.
Speaking of Google, something macro. Google and Microsoft are both getting investigated. The Fed came out today and started talking, or maybe today or yesterday, started talking about the monopoly that Google has on everything, basically. And they're starting to think about, I guess, like breaking up their monopoly. And then I want to say the EU is investigating Microsoft for basically the same thing. Very interesting stuff going on. And I want to speculate and put on my tinfoil hat and say that now that we have GPT-C and AI coming up, that the government's starting to get kind of scary about technology, and they want to try to start like making a power grab, probably.
Yeah, technology and AI are scary. I tried to tell my girl about that movie where the guy falls in love with the robot out in the place, and then she locks him in that room and she leaves him there. That's the scariest thing in the world, too, man.
That is terrifying.
Ex Machina.
Ex Machina, yeah.
She was not moved by it at all. She was not moved. I was like, no, he fell in love with the machine, and then she just left him there. She didn't care. She was a machine. She's like, All right.
I'll do it to you too. You better watch
it. Fear we
have. She said it can happen to you.
Yes, Pudgy Penguins did win this battle, and it wasn't because of my explanation of them. They just won this battle because, it probably was somewhat to do with how we explained it. Other people probably feel the same way. Pudgy Penguins took it. Again, a 5.5 ETH floor versus a 1 ETH floor. But if you want a Sappy Seal for 1.3 ETH, this might be the move. I do think this is a good community. I do think they are building. They have their own metaverse thing. This will be another one of these blue chip NFT projects I see happening. So how long until they move up? I don't know. But I don't think they're one of these profile picture projects that's just going to like floor out. They just seem to have a lot going for them. Yeah. And with that, we are ready to close the day. Any remarks from you two gentlemen?
You asked us to keep it simple. I feel like when we talk about the bear versus the bull kind of market and how we feel about the market, there's like always a little, context for that for me, and at the end of the day, it's bare because I feel like there's supposed to be a correction, that our market needs a correction, and that some of these things clearly need to clean out, and so that's really why I'm bearish. It's not because I don't think markets can rally and go up and down and that you can make money or anything like that. It's just more in the sense that, like, hey, everybody, we need some corrections. That it feels like the right thing to do. We need to pull back on some of these things, and this extends beyond crypto. This is like real life, in the sense to where, you mentioned the debt ceiling and so on and so forth. It's like, yeah, we should probably raise the debt ceiling, but we kind of need to fix that. That's a problem that we need to fix. It's not like, oh well, it's whatever. We can just keep,
I mean, the proposed solution to it is let's just get rid of the debt ceiling. It's like, so unlimited. You're telling me unlimited spending. Unlimited spending. All right.
They're like,
get it. No, you're getting it. It's kind of
yeah, all of the spending. Why not?
You know what I mean?
Why can't I have it? That ring.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't I have it?
So it's just this weird thing to where it's like we have to fix some of these things. Like, clearly we're having some real world problems, to where countries feel like they're close to failing. We have like wars that feel like kind of could be ending for a lot of different countries and stuff. And it's just one of those things where I'm like, okay, we need to return to some kind of normalcy, some kind of peace, some kind of equilibrium. And right now, I think, we're just kind of teetering along, and it's like we need that correction real quick,
I feel
and
like
then
we're
and
living
then
in
we
two different realities at once.
yeah, that's most people, whether they're talking about like our political system, to where there's like, the left believes this, the right believes that, then there's people in the middle that are like, hey, can't we just get along? And it's just like, can't we just do what makes sense?
The thing you didn't get about the Matrix, because it's still farming you right now, man. You don't have to be in the pods. The machines are taken from you right now. Chat GPT, man.
It just like, it's like you could go to all kinds of rabbit holes, and I like to do the ones where they talk about human nature and stuff. And it just feels like relationships are down, families down, you being able to pay your bills down, a bunch of people getting fired, like even some top execs are starting to get fired in some of these tech companies, to where it's like,
we watched The Bachelor last night, and these ladies said the dating pool is down. They seem distraught. They seem upset.
Yeah.
That's what people are living with out there. Don't make that face, Satoshi.
I don't know.
So she's like, I don't know. I don't know.
Men and the dating
like,
pool. What's
like,
going on
man,
here?
that's not how I left it.
Hey, I always leave more than I take out, bro. Just gotta leave more in there, or else people start getting antsy.
But yeah, that's
Start trying to take what you got.
Yeah, that's what I got though. I feel like that definitely needs to be explained. Like how I feel, the way I feel, and really what it means. That doesn't mean you can't make money. That doesn't mean you can't catch rallies. That doesn't mean you can't make money. It doesn't mean you can't make moves. It just means realistically, we have some problems to fix, and they don't seem to be getting fixed. So, boom is kind of all I see.
See, that's what I like to call, like, I used to call somebody like that woke, but now I don't know what to say. Now I don't know what to say. It's been co-opted, so I really don't know what to call you anymore.
Like, I don't even know what to say. It's something.
I don't know what to
He's
say.
day walking. He's a day walker. He's a day walker.
That's what he needs to become. Day walker.
He's awake, but he's also dreaming.
Toshi, you got any last words for us, or more market feels?
My last words is, I'm trying really hard not to be super bull. I'm trying hard to fucking be Rex Satoshi. I just want to be Rex Satoshi, but I got all this bullish stuff going on and all this money to be made, and I'm just like, how can I be wrecked right now? I just can't. So I just have to be bullish. Like, I'm sorry. I'm trying to work on it. And like, I even sold some shit the other day. I was like, okay, It's getting out of hand. It's time to fucking sell. It's time to fucking do it. And you know what? When I sell, it's like, man, I gotta like put my salt around and like light some matches and pray and say like, look, I'm sacrificing this Bitcoin and Ethereum to the fiat gods.
To the fiat gods.
I need you guys to take this
Fiat
offering.
gods.
Take this offering and just know that it wasn't given up easily. It wasn't. And you just let it go. And look, the market dipped on me. I fucking missed the dip. I missed the dip yesterday. I keep looking at this chart over here and I'm like, oh, I keep missing the dip. But that's what I'm looking at now. I'm like, man, how long can this last? I'm looking at charts, listening to different people. Just like there's a lot of rhythm to how the chart is looking on Bitcoin right now. And as far as like past what we call them bear market, like a bear market rally type thing. And the one that I keep thinking about is I think the one that happened in I think it was 2019, where we went from like around like 6,000 to 14,000. And then we kind of came back down to like 6,000 again, and then that's when we really lifted off. So I'm just kind of, I don't know. I'm trying to stay optimistic, thinking maybe we'll get something like that, you know, where we go up a good, 30, 40%, and then kind of come back down. But I'm also like, man, I gotta be careful because you never know when the air could just come out of the balloon. And we'll all be looking like the Infinite, talking about being woke and shit. I'm like, man, it's over. It's over. And then I'll be back to being Rex Satoshi again. And then ain't no good.
All I heard was your passion. All right. We need to get these gains. All right. We need to get these goddamn gains. There's gains to be had. Okay.
Yeah,
like,
I
hear you.
There are.
It makes sense. But there's gains to be made. All right. That's what I gotta say. All right. Like gains.
I know there was a recession. I know there's a recession out here, but
gains can be made going up or down.
We're trying to make some money out here.
Yeah,
this is not financial advice.
I had to ask you one question from what your statement there, which is just that do you have a moon bag of Bitcoin like sitting somewhere, or did you just sold your Bitcoin? I don't know.
Okay, so I would say probably a good 60% of my portfolio is Bitcoin.
Okay, so you still even though you sold some, you still holding Bitcoin.
Yeah, most of the stuff from the last bull, a lot of my little residuals I put in Bitcoin, so I'm always exposed. But I know that I think personally that you got to get a little more risky than Bitcoin to make money. Yeah. So Bitcoin is Bitcoin is my risk off, which is funny to say. But just to answer your question, yeah, I still believe in Bitcoin. Most of my bags are in Bitcoin is because I'm trying to not get absolutely wrecked. And it's weird though, because even when I'm looking at my portfolio, I'm not really looking at the Bitcoin that I have to try to make money off of. I'm just that's
why I had to ask that, because I was like, well, when you said that you're selling some for games, are you? Because I often I'll come across these articles that say something like, oh, this percentage of Bitcoin holders haven't moved their crypto in X amount of time or this many years, and I'm like, that's me. No, so I have not touched that. It's been 5 years, bro. It's not moving.
Since somebody decided to fuck everything up, and now I can't use my favorite cash out exchange. I had to use other methods to cash out. So I had to sell some stuff into Bitcoin to move the Bitcoin to Cash App to sell it. So that's why I said I sold
the
it.
Cash App move.
But
Thank you. Clap it up.
I didn't sell any Bitcoin from my cold wallet. So that's still not been moved and been touched. So I also think that what's going on now is that there's just not enough Bitcoin on exchanges right now. We've seen all the outflows, we've seen all the Bitcoin that's not moved in a while. It's just that stuff plays a part in how the price moves. So maybe those market makers are like, fuck, man, these guys are taking all the Bitcoin. We can't make the price too low now because we'll get fucked. But what about you? What are you looking like? What are you thinking about?
This might be, I'm in my what time was period was this where I decided to do this? I think like you said, it felt like 2019. That rally run and stuff like that, and I feel similar. I feel like it's a mix between, for me, I don't know what point in 2019 it is though. Because I feel everybody when they say that they're expecting this whole retracement and stuff, but I saw the bear market that's coming in 2021. Like I'm like very much still at the top of the market, and like in DeFi every day, like earning off of these tokens and stuff like that. And you watching Bitcoin, Ethereum, as you're saying, like Bitcoin is like that reserve for me most of the time. And then like I had to switch it up from my reserve to making stable coins my reserve. I was like, okay, Bitcoin's going down too much. I got to make stable coins my reserve. Otherwise, the whole time up the bull rally was like into Bitcoin. And that's like, that's like the normal cycle of things. You go into altcoins, make your gains, go back into Bitcoin or Ethereum. They go up, go into altcoins, make your gains, go back into Bitcoin. And it just cycles up. But yeah, I had to switch that up. But yeah, I feel like I don't know what part of 2019 it is, whether it's the summer of 2019, which is when we kind of like had that run time, or and then things dip back down for round fall, or if it's more so winter, and it's currently winter of 2019, which led into 2020, which was a beautiful year for crypto. That was known as the DeFi summer. And currently, like I feel like they were saying like we're currently like in a crypto, we're gonna be entering like crypto spring, of like where the market cycles this next year will be like crypto spring and for 23, and so 2024 would be another crypto summer. That's partially due to the halvening. So there's a halvening next year. So technically, like on halvenings, like usually there's like a 1 or 2 month like maybe consolidation period, and then price go up because Bitcoin price, if it continues to have the same amount of people in it buying it at a similar rate, has to go up. So I think this time around it might be even different. Because we have the halvening next year, and for the first time we have a deflationary Ethereum where all this Ethereum is being taken out of the market. Over the last year, over $4 billion worth of Ethereum has been burned, and then another large portion that's what's been burned. Now another large portion of Ethereum is staked and locked up, so that Ethereum is just being staked right there. So I think we just have like different market conditions where it's hard for me to, like, as much as I'm currently calling this a bear rally. I don't know how much longer of the bear market we have. Even when I look at like USD, like DXY, Dixie market cycles in general versus the crypto market cycles in general, having a 2-year long, like more than a 2-year long bear run, I don't know when's the last time that's happened. More than like that 2-year period of like just straight up like one direction. So I'm like, we pretty much are hitting that. For us to continue and be like, yeah, it's gonna be like another year of like downward pressure, be like unprecedented. It'd be like, this has never happened. And so like if that's gonna happen in stocks, it would be like a situation that's like never happened before in stocks. And like stocks are still like, at least like not since like, I'm not counting like these like the Great Depression time and stuff like that. I'd have to go back and look at that. But like in recent years, like it just hasn't happened. Like that's not like the 2018 financial crisis. It's not 3 years of like just straight up down, like like. So I'm just curious. I'm like, all right, well, there's got to be some level of pullback for at least some amount of time. And it's probably going to be like a year or 6 months or so of a pullback. And so I think right now we're maybe to wrap this up, I think right now we're maybe in like a 6-month bear market rally before we get the continuation of something else. And that's either the market kind of like tapers off and goes sideways more crab action, as they like to call it, or it just retreats back to previous numbers that we saw. But I don't I called my Bitcoin low before, which I thought was like around $14,000. It hit around 15,000. I think that's pretty dang close. We have yet to get back to that. So and that's what I believe for the market.
That's where we at, man.
That's where we at. Yeah, that's why these stable coins is popping. Right. Yeah,
real quick.
Look out for these stable coins.
Real quick, and just to say this before I ask this question, like Smurf said earlier, this is not financial advice, but it is a question that I feel like kind of needs to be asked, because it kind of plays into your opinion. So like when the vid happened, right? And we got all the stimmies and stuff, do you think that affected the stability of the crypto market versus like the stock market and stuff, because a lot of the times I think about them in a parallel sense. I know they work off different patterns and so on and so forth, but at the end of the day, do you think that was the only reason anything did stay afloat? Because at the end of the day, I feel like that would have been a harder crash without that. And
Oh, without the injection into the economy?
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I think because it caused a black swan event, and so like crypto went down and stocks and stuff like that went down when we first had the announcement of like lockdowns and stuff from that. However, prior to that happening, as I was saying, like the end of 2019 to 2020 was golden. If you was in crypto, you were already celebrating. You were like, yo, it's going up. January hit, you were like, it's not stopping. Yo, like I think Bitcoin went up like $1,000 or $2,000 in like January. It was just like a good time, and it was obvious that it was going to continue in this trajectory going up because we already have inflation issues. Like people like to act like it's only caused by like the C word and stuff. Like there was already an inflation issue, folks. Like it was Bitcoin Mac. Go talk to a Bitcoin maxi and ask them why they hold that Bitcoin. It's because of the inflation issue. It's like go look at the consumer price index over the last like 100 years. There's an inflation issue. So it was already happening, and it was like kind of like it was one of these periods where it was like speeding up, and it was really good for Bitcoin, regardless to what was happening in like stocks or anything like that. But then we had that situation happen, and that was just good for all markets, and people realized, I think, that there were certain assets that they can make that much more money on, and so it did happen, to benefit the crypto market. And in a lot of cases more so than stocks. But I think that would have happened anyways. And I think, and that's why I'm like, if anything happens to the United States dollar, where it has like another like downturn, and at that time, the United States dollar had a downturn. Like a lot of people weren't paying attention to DXY at the time. DXY was like 0.89. Like it's like 102 today or something like that. It was like 0.89, 0.86, like chilling, like, yo, I'm about to break 80 on y'all. It was not good times for that stuff. And like for like an entire year, like not a short amount of time. And it was already low, like leading up to that, like people, it was not good. So yeah, I think we're heading down right now. We've been going in a downward trend for the DXY since September. It just has not kicked back up. It had its little spike, and then it's just been going back down since. And so yeah, if it continues back down, like we've seen in the past, then that's going to be bullish for crypto and stocks or anything else. It's just going to be like, what avenues are the best ones to be in?
I want to take a shot at answering his question as well. So you were talking about like you're talking about the quantitative easing basically that the Fed did. So I think so before that happened was when the market kind of the Bitcoin market kind of bottomed out around like 3,000 was when when the COVID crash happened, and that was in March, and then things started ticking up. And I'm not sure exactly when they decided to really ramp up how much money they printed, and I don't even know the numbers, but they printed like 90%. I want to say I might be exaggerating a little bit, but 90% of the total supply.
It's somewhere around there because it was like 40. It was like 40% the first time, and then it was like a 35 or something like that. It was like it's like 70 to 80%. That's like the total supply. In like it was like in 2 years or so by then, but like that's a lot, yeah.
So is your question, did the money that they printed, did that money get injected into crypto? Is that what are you asking how that affected the market, or are you asking okay? I think that for sure when we got some of those stimulus checks and people were trying to decide what they were going to spend them on. I know that there were a lot of people who put their money in, so I do think that that helped kind of I wouldn't say sustain the rally, but it kind of helped. It kind of helped keep it going up as fast as it did, because it was like kind of sharp the way it was going up. But I think that the main thing that affected the price of Bitcoin was just the fact that they had printed the money, and that the price of every risk asset had no choice but to be appreciated because there's more supply of cash out there. So the price of everything has to appreciate because the supply of cash is more. So I think that's kind of like a double-sided coin. And I don't know which side of the coin is weighted more or not, but personally, I think that just them printing the money affected it more than people taking the money that they printed and then throwing it back into Bitcoin. I just think that Bitcoin kind of started appreciating, just like houses did, and Pokemon cards and NFTs and tissue and all kind of other stupid ass shit that people or things that people need. That it's just like there's so many dollars out here now that this is more valuable in dollars, just because there's so many more of them.
Bro, I remember I got this Twitter argument with this girl. I was like, it's inflation. Somebody was like, why is the milk so expensive? I'm like, inflation. We printed an insane amount of money. There's more money, like to what you're saying, Satoshi. There's more money out there right now than there's ever been before. Like, to make up for things are going to go up in price. Like, if you understand how when there's more, people just got free money, you think there's not going to be a cost to that? They didn't tell you to go out there and buy a TV, but people went out there and bought TVs and went on vacations and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, well, now your milk costs more. That's what happens. That's what happens. On this chart, I showed this chart for you guys because this is 2019. So April 2019, we had that run up Satoshi was talking about, up to around that $14,000 area, 13,000 or so. 13, almost 13,000. We run down, and then I said, I wasn't sure if this was the beginning of the year where that happened, or if it was around December or so, leading into the new year. And so we have December, we're down that $7,000 range, and then again, I was like, if you were in the market at the time, it was great for you, up to $8,000, up to $9,000, up to $10,000, and then we have the C word start to happen. This is before, this is when what's his name was it trying to be like, yo, it doesn't exist. It's not gonna, it's not gonna come here. Because there was that whole period of February, if people don't remember, it's not going to come here and stuff like that. And the market's like, oh no, bro, this guy seems dumb. By the end of February, everybody's like, this guy seems dumb. That was this part. And then March hit, and then there was that Black Thursday down here.
That shit was rough, bro. I remember looking at my shit like, it's time to figure out what you're doing here, bud. Are you in or you out? Are you in or you out?
But after Black Thursday, everything started going back up, and we continue what was already a trend, basically. To go out farther, it's just lower, and we go up in this crazy run, and then we have that pullback, that retracement, and the retracement was finished and on its way back up already. But then we had that black swan. So again, to Infinite's question, I think it was already on the way up. But as Satoshi said, that just helped put fuel on the fire and help everybody's case of inflation and everything. Everybody was already like, yo, inflation's already bad. It's already over this percentage that people are expecting. No, it's compound inflation. People aren't understanding that that was the issue with the girl. She was like, well, inflation was only 1.2% that year, and here it's 2%, and then the other year it's 0.6%. I'm like, I know the colors on the chart that you're looking at. One of them is green and one of them is red, and you're like, oh, green, that's good. Red, that's bad. It's compounding. It's a compounding effect. It doesn't matter. You have to add them up. And then that's the total of inflation you have over that period of time. You have to add all those numbers together. She just was not getting it. I was like, I'm sorry, but you don't know how to recharge.
It's that compound word. If I got you compound, they'd be like, man, that shit hurts my brain, cuz.
No, so the real reason I asked the question was to kind of go into this last part, and I don't really want to drag on forever. It's just, when I listen to you guys talk, this is usually what's going on in my background and my little filter going on and on and on, about okay, the question is, because obviously I don't study the charts like you guys do, or as familiar with all the projects that you guys get into. And it's like, okay, well, how much is it affected by, people's ability to spend money, their ability to kind of live their life, and if most people get wrecked, what happens, and so that's generally my bearish belief of I think a lot of people are going to get wrecked. I think a lot of people are going to lose their homes. I think a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. It may not be the end of the world. It might not mean mass famine or anything like that, but that accounts for something. And, when I think of stocks and I think of companies and I think about all these different types of things, when I go to my job and I'm walking down the street and I'm like, oh, damn, that's closed. That's closed. That's closed. Tim's Hortons shutting down at the corner of one of the most busiest parts of, my city, and it's kind of I get it. Again, I believe the correction needs to happen. There's a lot of fuckery going on. There's a lot of bad stuff happening, but how does that affect crypto? Because maybe there's and this is good that I'm the normie in this situation, so I can ask the question. Okay, maybe there's something that's tracking on crypto that completely misses somebody like my mind, you know, because it's like I understand, you know, the idea of like holding your assets is something that's gonna sustain its value, but I don't necessarily understand why you guys believe so strongly in the rally and that it will continue to be not bully, but bullish, you know, in the sense that like, okay, these patterns usually happen, but I'm like, does it happen when people get wrecked? Like, I just think people are going to get wrecked.
Yeah.
So it's
and like a short answer for that would be, like, for me at least, would be that, like, with Bitcoin, there's a finite amount of Bitcoin, like, and that's what any Bitcoin master is going to tell you. Like, regardless, there's a finite amount of Bitcoin. The majority of Bitcoins are already owned, so it's a finite amount of something, and the majority of them are already owned. And so, like, the only way that you're going to, like, it's going to go up in price. Then it's like, yeah, I want one of those Gundam Wing action figures in the store. All these other kids are holding one. Like, how much for the last one? Like, and eventually, like, you know, they got it behind the register, like a Turbo Man situation. If you watch Dingo all the way, and eventually, like, that's a great example, honestly. Like, eventually, Turbo Man costs way more than it does at store price, even if the store is selling it. Even from the stores, eventually, the store people were like, yeah, we're holding it in the back. It actually costs this much now. Like, and it goes up because of that supply and demand issue. And so, like, that's like, and it's just a supply and demand issue that we don't have with the United States dollar, because people are emotional, because we want to do things like raise the debt ceiling. And if we raise the debt ceiling, how long can that go before the Federal Reserve has to just inject more money into the market, just printing more money out when we have yet to pull back all this money that we already pushed in? And this is a one-time thing that we're talking about with the C word and stuff like that, but it's happened before. It's not the first time they've done this. Like, we just keep, like, again, look at a CPI index chart, and it looks crazy. It looks like the most bonker balls chart that you've ever seen, where it's like, wow, that much purchasing power lost. Like, yeah, it's insane. It's insane. And so it just hasn't stopped historically. We haven't found a solution to it. We're trying to, like, stop other things. We're trying to stop crypto instead of trying to figure out the actual solution to this inflation problem. And, like, that's not the answer. Like, that's not how you solve the math problem. It's like, let me solve this other problem first. Like,
I think we do have the solution. It's just painful for us to do, because it's like, okay, all the funny money, all the stuff, we have to pull it back. We have to take it back, you know. And it's like we just have to be realistic about, like, our situation, you know. And it's like when you started talking about the pipeline, it's like, hey, like, this has always been kind of a bad idea, you know. And they're like, gains, bro, and you're kind of like, hey guys, you know, like, even your own reports, like, this probably isn't the best idea. And then they just look at you, gains, and then they back up. And it's like, they don't even say it loud, you know. They don't, like, smash your face into it. It's like, gains, and then they back up, and it's like,
bro, that pipe's corroded, bro.
It's falling apart, man. And they're like, gains, and then they just back up and they walk off, and you're like, wow. And then the pipe's being built, and you're like,
they're like, we won. We won this battle. Buy more bottled water. Like,
and I'm like, you know, so it's like, you know, that's the nature of the question. It's like, you know, I just, you know, it's like, you want to have hope for the future, you know, and I'm a hope strategist, if you will. You know, there's like a dude I watch, you know, he's like, oh, you hope strategist. And I'm kind of like, I'm kind of a hope strategist. I want to believe the best in everything, but, you know, like,
it's rough to keep being
gains. And I'm kind of like, you know, I really don't know what to do. I'm like, dude, am I really the only one seeing this? Like, you know, so, like, yeah, that's just the question. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, I guess we'll see. You know, time will tell, you know. But yeah.
You were saying, Satoshi? Bring us home.
I don't remember exactly what I was saying. I was just saying that, you know, it's hard to remain optimistic and be hopeful all the time. And I try to remain hopeful about you know, the outlook on the world, and try to be positive and be optimistic about other people, and hopefully that, you know, hopefully they make it out, or hopefully they get it together, or hopefully someone helps them. Hopefully I can help them, you know. So, you know, it's always good to have hope and be optimistic, but you also gotta dream big, man. Hope for them. You gotta sacrifice
And
and pray. You gotta fucking you man, like this is about to fucking happen, yo. This is about to happen. I'm about to make this $1 million, yo. I'm about to make this $1 million.
Not do
And
say it into existence.
And then whoever I can help after that, I'm gonna help. But first, I gotta make this $1 million. So that's how I feel about it.
Feel that.
You can't help nobody until you make some money.
For shizzle, for rizzle. You gotta get out there and get it. And I probably have like the least pessimistic view on that type of thing, where I just feel like it's a natural adoption of things. Where I've said it it's probably like 10 episodes back now or something like that. But I feel like blockchain and all this stuff is just the course that money needs to go to be more efficient. Like for us to stop making these large mistakes of I'm sure there's a point where they were doing the QE where they were like, maybe we printed too much. Maybe it was too much. Maybe it's too much.
Maybe it's not.
You knew it was too much when people were saying it like it was mostly finance, fintech and stuff like that, and Bitcoin people and stuff like that talking about during the Trump administration, they were like, yo, we printed way too much money. We printed way too much money. And they weren't really attacking a party with it. They were like, yo, the Federal Reserve is to blame. We printed way too much money. And then but no Republicans were saying anything because Trump's in office. And I was like, all right, they're just quiet about it. They're all happy about this. And then the moment there was a Democrat in office, the Republicans were like, yo, we print way too much money right now. And I'm like, yo, y'all didn't say nothing before. Come on,
y'all did
bro.
It was them that did it. Y'all did it.
They didn't want to say nothing
y'all
before.
Did it.
I'm like, yeah, y'all printed the most. He continued and he didn't, it didn't slow down quick enough underneath this new administration. But the majority was printed in. Y'all didn't want to say nothing. It was been a problem. What you talking about? Now you want to talk up though. You didn't want to stop it then. Everybody was just happy to get filthy rich, like all of Congress did. Okay, cool. No, y'all cute. Yeah, have more of these Fed Reserve presidents step down. That's cool. Yeah, that was really cool. Insider trading, cool. All right, but that's my take. That's my take on things. This has been Trustless Degens. Unless you guys have anything else to say, I think we're gonna roll this out.
Yeah, last thing. So basically, you think the technology is going to be the correction?
Yes, the technology.
Okay.
It just fixes things where we just. It's the evolution of finance, in my opinion. And there's decentralized finance, and there will be centralized finance that uses these blockchain technology, because you can't call it DeFi then. But there will be centralized finance that uses this blockchain technology, and that's really, to our point earlier, that's really what these regulators need to come after and regulate, and understand that that's what they need to be regulating, because that's where it's at. You're not targeting the pirates in open water that have a better working financial system than you do because they over collateralize everything. That's not who you want to come at. The people that are over collateralized for running some type of under collateralized operation. It's very obvious and transparent that it's over collateralized. There's no issues there. Go after the people where you can't see things because you made laws and rules that allow these people to hide things. Regulate that area better. And once we start using this technology on a more wide basis, like Swift's already doing, like Bank of America is now testing, like JP Morgan stuff, like all these banks are testing, which we talked about earlier. We're like, oh, maybe that'll happen because it's a natural progression. And now they're all testing out this technology. Now they're all running it in the background, regardless of what Jamie Dimon says on TV. He's testing it out, regardless of what Warren Buffett says about cryptocurrency. He has companies that are actually buying up cryptocurrencies. He's just invested in those companies, and so he don't know what that's. I bought them because they're smart and they make me money, but I don't like that crypto. Well, that's what they're buying, Warren. It's just the natural progression of things.
I don't want to drag us on, but he's talking about tech, and man, tech is getting wrecked right now. It's a crazy opportunity.
Destroyed.
And we were talking about how we live in two different realities. The market cap of Coinbase is less than the market cap of Aptos right now, and I think that is a fucking weird ass. That's some weird shit, bro. I don't get it. It's weird. It's real weird. People are scared. I think that coin is a massive opportunity, though.
Hey,
I don't know how low it'll go, but once it stops going low, it's gonna be crazy. Anyway,
look, Warren don't know nothing about crypto, but he do know how to make money. Buy when there is blood in the streets. When people are fearful, be greedy. All right, that's it for today's episode of Trustless Degens. Thank you for joining us. This is the show where we talk about all things Web3, crypto, pretty much insert buzzword here. We'll see you guys next time.